Hello and welcome back to the farm. So today we are building what's basically a joist hanger, but for a big timber post. Some of these are commercially available. However, I have a custom post from a buddy of mine that has a sawmill. So a commercial variety of this really doesn't exist. So I had some plate laying around. It was salvaged from something. And we're going to turn that into some joist hangers. We got a base plate, it's two sides. Actually, I got to make one more cut. Actually, two more cuts, I guess. These two and one more, and we'll build a little box. Once I get it tacked up, I'll bring you back, and it'll probably make a little bit more sense what we're doing. All right, like I said, hopefully this will start making more sense now that you can see what I got tacked up. It's just basically a big variety of a joist hanger that you use, for a floor joist, a 2x8 or 2x6 or something. Just a hanger. I'll put some holes in this so we can, lag anchor it or tapcon it or, some fashion to the wall. And again, some holes into the upright pieces in this view that'll go into the post. I got it tacked up here. I just used a little 110 wire feed machine. Certainly wouldn't recommend welding this whole thing out with it, but just for tacking it up purposes, that'll be plenty fine. I'll drag the welder outside here, get it warming up, and the wire feed machine doesn't take 20 minutes to warm up for 5 tacks. So I'll get the other one warming up. I'll get the other joist hanger because I can make 2 of these. I'll get it tacked up in that process, and I'll bring you back at some point during the welding whenever it's not terribly boring. Ignore the ugly torch cuts. I am no IC weld. So here's the first one, all welded out. 2 passes on the bottom, since that's going to be where the weight is. It's welded inside with a small bead, and then outside I ran a larger rod for a little bit more reinforcement. So this is the first one. Over here, I'll show you real quick what this is going to look like on the beam. I know, it's sideways, but this is going to be the bottom, and this will actually be the top up here. And then the plate will bolt to the wall. So hope that gives you a little bit better understanding of what it is that we did here. Now, all that being said, on this side, the bottom, and the opposite, we're going to run a series of bolts, and probably one in the center here. And not that the beam should ever have load upward or be pushed up for any reason, but if I have a fastener up there, that'll certainly give it a stop, if nothing else, if something does go bad there. This is a beam for, I call it a mezzanine, but it's really just a glorified shelf is all that it's going to be. Nothing real heavy is going to go up there as far as, thousands of pounds of weight. It'll be a couple of 100 pounds of weight. Just big stuff mostly is what we're planning on. So, an 8 1/4 by 8 3/4 beam is certainly overkill, I guess, for what we're doing. But, it's stuff that I had available. All right, so since we got the brackets up on the wall, and I got this nice beam here from my buddy, I put some black paint on it. And if it looks like it's soaking in really good, that's because it is. I took the paint and I thinned it, probably 3 to 1 thinner to paint. Basically really over thinned it so that it would soak in, because I really don't want to build a layer on this per se. You can see it's still wet here. The only place that I really care to build a layer is on the end. Actually, both ends. And all that's going to do is, you see it's already got a split in it from it drying. That'll just, keep those splits to a minimum if possible. And what I found out is that a beam such as this can be cracked, and can actually be cracked a lot. And it doesn't really matter the direction, and it really doesn't lose any strength if it's captured in a set of brackets such as what we made. So give me a little bit, let this soak in and dry here, probably overnight, and we'll get it stuck up in those brackets, and we'll continue on this process. So a few days have gone by here, and as you see, the paint's dry. I got the beam up, and I've been putting up the wood. I got all the joists laid out. A little bit of wood up over there. These are just, on standard joist hangers, nothing real special. It's womanized around the outside, then standard pine lumber, dimensional in the middle for the stringers. And then those are just, basically big Tapcon screws, concrete anchors into the block. So then over here, what I've got going on is the floor part. Looking pretty good so far. It's just reclaimed, basically pieces of thin plywood, doubling up the layers. They're reclaimed from where I work. Nothing real fancy or elaborate there. Just trying to save a little bit. I'm not real sure whether it's totally worth it or not, but hey, it's less money to spend. And then up on top here, we got some truck parts and a box, and there's a heater back there, and just some random stuff that was sitting on the floor, mostly being in my way. And I had a car to work on, so it needed to go somewhere, and rather than move it 2 and 3 more times, it went up there. So I'm not sure what's up next on my video project list, but this one's pretty well done, and done enough to say that I'm not going to make another update for 4 more pieces of flooring up there. So that being said, thank you for watching, and I will be back in the next one.